And so Prabhupada looked at Mohanananda, and Mohanananda thought, everybody knows Prabhupada was an Urnikoveksho. He said, but if Prabhupada doesn't remember, I don't remember either. He said, I don't remember Prabhupada. And his big fat ego, the I let you come on my show, like that. And Prabhupada said, we come here often to walk. Do you come here also? Well, Swamiji, sometimes we come to watch the sunrise. So Prabhupada made pranams and they continued walking on. And this poor gentleman, his huge false ego was completely shot down. So I was just remembering that this morning. As later Mahanananda, he developed the Australian yatra, one of the most dynamic yatras in the world. Australian yatra, they have so many wonderful temples and so many. I went there for the first time, and I got there to immigration, and the guy looked at me very sternly, said, why have you come here? Because they always want to know what you're a tourist or you're what, or you're doing business. Or he said, why have you come here? I said, to see all the Hare Krishna temples in Australia. And he said, yeah? He said, we have one in here in Sydney, don't we? He said, yeah. He said, yeah, I know. You know what the best thing about the Hare Krishna is? The food. Bam, go. That was my welcome to Australia. Everybody, we have a very nice impression amongst the Australian people. Even one time for New Year's, we were in Brisbane. Now, there's 2 lost forests of Braj in Australia. They wandered so far away. One is Melbourne, and the other one is Brisbane. The third one is in South Africa, Durban. That's the Dur. So we were in Brisbane on the New Year's Eve. So they had a big Harinam party. All the devotees came. And I was worried, because, generally everybody's drunk and they're crazy, and especially in America, they could do anything, So, and I thought these Aussies, they were all the criminals. They're all descendants of the criminals that the British sent off to Australia. So I was a little worried, But everybody came, and we could see they were all drunk, but they put their hands in the air, and they all chatted with us. And then there's a big bridge, and we went on the bridge, and then, everybody was enjoying our kirtan. Everybody was coming near our kirtan, and we were chanting. And then they had there's a big bridge over the harbor, and a big harbor there. So right over the harbor, they were shooting off we watched all the fireworks at midnight. Very nice place. Hare Krishna. So in Braj, we heard there's 12 forests. One of those forests is Talavan. Do we have tall trees in Bangalore? I haven't been around enough to see. We have tall trees, but do we have tall trees? No, not in Bangalore. We don't have tall trees. So anyway, they're a particular type of palm tree that I call the fan palm tree. The date palms are all straight like this. Their branches are like that, but this comes out in a big fan like that. And in the rainy season, a very beautiful fruit comes on, just like there's a rod in the middle and all these big round, like a barrel, they're shaped like barrels. And they're sort of purplish, like an eggplant. They look like whole strings of eggplants, strung around like this, ping, 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 ping. And then toward the end of the rainy season, they start turning very orange with little purple highlights. And they're very delicious. They're like a stringy mango. Mostly because they're so stringy, mostly they squeeze them and make juice. Because I remember what time we went to Talavan, and it was just before Kartik, so it was toward the end of rainy season. And although the place is known as Talavan, there's no forest there anymore. But they have 3 or 4 tall trees there. So there were some ripe tall fruits on the tree, and Mahant at that time was my friend Priya Saran, and so he grabbed one of his disciples and said, go get the tall fruits. So he climbed up the tree and brought the tall fruits down, and then they made juice. And all the devotees were pouring out their Bish Lahari. Instead of drinking Braj water, we drink Bish Lahari. And they were filling them up with tal juice. It was very nice. So, anyway, this used to be so many tal trees there. Now in the courtyard of the temple, there's a tall tree that's not very tall, and there's one that's a little bit tall. And then behind the temple, there's a couple more. So one time, Krishna and the cowboys were wandering through the forest. And I speculated they must have been coming from the western side of Talvan. Because I've lived in Braj for a long time, and I've seen that, especially in the summer season, the wind is blowing from the west, blowing off the Rajasthan desert. We call it the Loo. And it's very dangerous. If you stay too long in the Loo, it'll just suck all the water out of your body and you'll dehydrate and faint. So you have to be very careful to drink lots of water in the summertime. So the wind is blowing from the west. But as soon as rainy season starts, then the wind blows from the east. This cool breeze starts blowing from the east. So Krishna and all the cowherd boys, they were going along. So I figured this, because they all smelled, all the cowherd boys, they smelled the tal fruits. So I figured they must be on the western side, because the wind will come from the east, it will go west, so they must have been on the western side. And in fact, my dear godbrother Mahanidhi Swami has translated this Sarta Darshani Deepika of Viswanath Chakravarti Thakur, and in his Tika, in his commentary, he says the boys were coming from the western side, from Govardhan Hill, because Govardhan Hill is west of Talavan. So my speculation was correct. They were coming from the west. And they smelled the ripe tal fruits. Because they were ripe, then I figured it must be rainy season, so the wind is coming from the east, so they must be in the west. So that's right. And Brishbasi boys, 24 hours a day, they're hungry. So they smelled these nice tal fruits. Were just ripe on the trees. And they told Krishna, hey Lala, all the tal trees are filled with fruits. We want to go there, but unfortunately, there's a big demon named Dhanukasura in the form of an ass who lives there. And he was a servant of Kamsa. Kamsa was so powerful. He conquered all these big demons. They all became servants of Kamsa. So he was protecting that forest, and he collected all the fruits and sent them to Mathura, to King Kamsa. And he never let any Brishbasi or any Vaishnava ever touch those fruits. And whatever was left over, he and his ass friends, they would enjoy. So then Krishna, he looked at Balaram. Because Balaram kills this demon. And there's a reason why. Because the history, he was known as No. He was a descendant of Bali Maharaj, but he was a descendant of Prahlad Maharaj also. Sahasik. And one time he was sitting in front of his guru, Brihaspati, with his feet stretched out like this. We never put our feet towards anyone for that matter, especially a respectable person, especially the guru. So he was sitting with his feet stretched out. Just like I can remember one time in LA, that reminds me of Prabhupada pastime, personal one. Because I always, whenever I went to LA because Prabhupada was there, I would always make sure I'd be very close to the Vyasa-san. Always be right up front. So suddenly, Prabhupada looked at me and he took his finger like that. And I looked and I thought maybe my dhoti was open or something. I couldn't see anything, and then suddenly I was sitting like this and I looked up at Prabhupada and he moved his head like that. So I froze in this yogi position, And after a while, class was going on. And sometimes devotees have this bad habit, And especially me, it was always very hard. Now in my old age, I can't sit cross-legged anymore. But even as young, it was always very hard. So devotees have this bad habit of taking their leg and going like this. And when you're giving class, it's very distracting. So all of a sudden, Prabhupada stopped the class. He looked down at me and said, "Don't do that." So anyway, Sahasik, he stuck his foot out at Brihaspati. So Brihaspati cursed him. That you're sitting like an ass, so you shall become an ass. And then he begged his forgiveness in so many ways. He said, I've already pronounced the curse, but in Dwapar Yuga, Lord Balaram will come and liberate you from this curse. Now the reason that Balaram has to do it is because he's descended, Sahasik is a descendant of Prahlad Maharaj, through Bali Maharaj, down. He was a descendant of, and we don't read it in Srimad Bhagavatam, but somewhere in the Puranas describes that one of the conditions that Prahlad Maharaj begged from Nrsingadev is you never kill any of my descendants. You never kill any of my descendants. So Krishna can't kill him. Only Balaram can kill him. So Krishna looked at Balaram. So Balaram, he went over and he took that tal tree and he just began to shake it like that. Now there's a tal tree in the courtyard of the temple. I can't even move it a millimeter. And Balaram was shaking it like this. And all the fruits went thud, 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 thud. Made a big sound. So we know donkeys, they have big long ears, right? So they can hear. So Dhenukasura, he heard this sound. Somebody's stealing our tal fruits. So he came running up there and he saw this beautiful white Balaram with his blue, shiny blue dhoti, shaking the tree. So he walked up. First thing he did, he turned his back to Balaram. We never put our backs to the deity. I remember one time I was in was it Radharaman temple. I was explaining about the deity, and I got so absorbed in the Leela, I was talking to the devotees and saying, don't tell me the story. This is Gopal Bhatta's deity. He was worshipping at Shalagram and the whole thing. And I turned my back to the deities, talking to the devotees. And immediately the guard came up and just slapped me. So we never want to put our back to the deities. And then, not only did he turn his back, he began to kick Lord Balaram with his hind feet. Because this is what asas do. But for Balaram, this was just like somebody was throwing flower petals on his chest. And he grabbed that Dhenukasura's hind legs and he swung him around and around and around, and his life air came out of his body, and he threw him up into a tall tree, And he hit that tall tree hit the next one, that one hit the next one, and pat, 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 like dominoes. All the tall trees came falling down like that. So all of Dhenukasura's ass friends, they saw this happen, so then they charged. Now, Dhenukasura is taken care of by Balaram. Now Krishna can get in the fight. So Krishna and Balaram, they're throwing the asses into the trees. Bing, 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 bing. And it looked like, because some of them are grayish, some of them are whitish, so it looked like white clouds and black clouds were all hanging in the trees like that. So Biswanath Chakravarti Thakur describes that day, because it was a big bloody mess. We forgot, and when life air came out, it remained in the sky and then merged into the body of Krishna. So it was a big bloody mess. So the cowherd boys, they didn't eat any of the tall fruits that particular day. But there was a whole group of Aborigine Wyndham tribals, the Pulindas. The Pulinda ladies, they came and washed them off and ate those fruits. But then after a few days, it was rainy season, so the rains came, washed everything. And then the cowherd boys started going there every day and taking tall fruits and having a good time. And Kamsa suddenly realized that his supply of tall fruits had stopped. And then he found out that he had been killed, that Dhenukasura had been killed by Krishna. He was very angry. So there's, actually it was just a simple temple. We could hardly even call it a temple there when I first went there 40 years ago. Now, Priya Saran, he fixed it up nicely, collected and nicely, and then I think Braj Vikas Trust or somebody has put nice sandstone and everything, and nice columns and a big kirtan hall. So now there's a devotee there named Shivananda, something like that. Shiv Govinda, something, I can't remember right now. Who always loves us too much when we come there. And so there's a great big tall deity of Balaram. And a little tiny deity of Kanhaiya. And then there's a deity, somebody placed on the altar later, a deity of Revati. But actually Revati is not part of Braj Leela. She's part of Dwarka Leela. But some simple devotee came and donated a deity of Revati for the temple. But she's actually from Dwarka Leela. Actually, she's from Satyuga, as a matter of fact. Because in Gujarat, there's a big hill called Girnar. I've been there. So many hundreds, I didn't go up, there's so many hundreds of steps to the top of that hill. And just nearby is a mountain called Raivat. And there Raivat Maharaj had his kingdom. And Raivat Maharaj, he had a beautiful daughter. So because she was the daughter of Raivat, she became Revati. The daughter of Raivat is Revati. So as she matured, then, as all good fathers, Raivat Maharaj began to think of getting a proper husband for her. But he was very picky, because the fathers are very, very, very attached to the daughters. I know, I have one. So unless they can get a proper husband for their daughter, they'll suffer. And he was very, very picky, and he interviewed so many people. And he just wasn't satisfied with anyone. So finally he took Revati with him, and he went up to Lord Brahma in Brahmalok. Now we know from the Brahma Vimohan Leela that the time on Brahmalok is different than the time on the Bhulok. So he went up to Brahmaloka, and naturally, just like when you go to see your temple president or your GBC, there's a big sign in the door, meeting going on, do not disturb. So the secretary told Raivat and Revati to sit outside for a minute. Then finally, they were allowed in. Now, we have a great sage in America named Murphy. And Murphy, he has so many laws, and one of those laws is that Jai Sri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki Jai, Sri Sri Gaurangi Bangaloreshwar ki Jai, Sri Sri Nitai Chaitanya ki Jai, and Lakshmi Nrsingadev ki Jai. So Murphy says that a meeting is an event where minutes are kept and hours are lost. I don't know how they'll translate that into Hindi. So, long time went by. We knew that one moment was just 1 year, so eons went by. So when finally he came in to see Lord Brahma, and he explained his position and the situation and talked about all the people he interviewed, Lord Brahma began to laugh. He said, "It's not funny." He said, "No, but all the people you talk about, they have died, their children have died, their children have died. Nobody ever even remembers the names of the people you're talking about." He said, "But not to worry. By the time you get back to the earth, it will be Dwapar Yuga, it will be the end of Dwapar Yuga, and in Dwarka, there's a very fine fellow named Balabhadra. He's the perfect bar for your daughter." So when Raivat and Revati got back to the earth, they saw all the trees were small, the people were small, the animals, everything was small. And they came to Dwarka, and they met Lord Balaram, and Raivat made his proposal. And Balaram, he looked at this big, tall girl from Satyuga. Now, I've lived here for 40 years in India. I've seen that when the people try to make a match, they always try to make sure they're equal, same status, same caste, same color, same, everything is pretty much matching, You never marry a big, tall girl and a little short guy. Just like in Vrindavan. I have a very dear friend from UK, and he's so black, he makes the nighttime look like daytime. And his wife, she's so white that the snow looks like coal. And my pujari from Vrindavan, he looked, he said, nobody in India would make a match like that. Their husband and wife. So Balaram, he looked at this big, tall girl. So Balaram took his plow, he put it on Revati's shoulder, and he pulled her down to size. And there's a very beautiful place, we stayed there, called Damodar Kund. And they have the Vivaha Mandap, where Revati and Balaram were married. And the owner of the manager of the Dharmshala, he speaks Russian even, Ruski. All the Russian devotees told me about this place. Very nice place. And he told us that you keep your door locked at night and don't go outside, because sometimes lions are sleeping on that mandap, the Vivaha mandap. They have nice Goshala there, so they have guards all night long watching, so no lion or tiger will come. So far off place. So Revati, she's not actually part of Braj Leela, but she's there. So now Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes, because he gives a background of all the different demons, and describes the anart that they represent. And ass is always representative of that foolish, ass-like mentality. to work hard and enjoy hard. This is the motto. If you go to America, this is the motto. Work hard, enjoy hard. Yeah. So the foolish ass-like personality who considers this body to be the self, and the only business of life is to work hard and get lots of money so you can enjoy this body. Just like in India, in Braj, we call the ass Vaisak Nandan. Because he becomes very happy in Vaisak. You guys don't have any Vaisak here like we have in Vrindavan. It goes to 40 and 50 degrees. So at that time, all the grass is dry. There's not only a little clump you'll find here, a little clump there. But the ass is so foolish. He finds a little clump of grass here. He finds a little clump of grass here. He finds another clump of grass here. He goes for kilometers and kilometers. And then he looks back and he says, I really went far. I must have eaten so much. And he becomes very fat, because jolly people, they're very fat. Just like our Sarvabhauma Prabhu comes here sometimes, no? Very, very jolly fellow. So everybody else is suffering, but the ass is very joyful. Then the rainy season comes, and the ass is so foolish. Now grass is everywhere, and he eats and eats and eats and eats and eats and eats, and he looks back and he says, I didn't go anywhere. I didn't eat anything today. And he gets worried. And worried people, we see, they're always very skinny and shriveled up. So he becomes very weak and skinny in the rainy season. So he's known as Vaisak Nandan. Because the ass is always the emblem of foolishness. And he has big ears so he can hear his, Prabhupada said, his wonderful philosophy. He always wants to speak his wonderful poetry for everybody. And he's so foolish, he's carrying big loads of sand or bricks or something, well, big loads of laundry, big, huge loads of laundry. Not even for himself, for somebody else he's carrying all these things. And all day long, there's grass on both sides of the road. But he's thinking, if I don't work hard, how am I going to eat grass? Because at the end of the day, then his master gives him a little bit of grass, and he's satisfied. Foolish guy. Then he goes up to the she-ass, and she kicks him right in the mouth. I've seen it. And it's horrible sound, because the mouth is a little hollow, no? When they kick right in the teeth, you hear this, boop! Horrible sound like this, you know? And he takes his lips just got smashed against his teeth, so and he comes again, pat! We can read all these stories and these examples in Prabhupada's books, but we can go to Braj and see them happen right before our So this is Talavan, the place of Dhenukasura. Although there's not many, there's no Tala, there's a beautiful lake there called Balabhadrakund. Huge lake. And always, Shivananda, he always gives me a little ball of dough. And they go out on the steps because this Braj Vikas Trust has made night steps and ghats there and everything. And you break up that dough and you throw it. Big, huge catfish like this come. Be surprised. Suddenly, you don't see them, but all of a sudden you start throwing balls and all of a sudden they all start coming up and we just keep throwing them. And boom, boom. The big whiskers. And Amazing place. It's not far from Madhuban. The next forest is Kamudvan. And I never found many pastimes that happen in Kamudvan. But Kumud refers to this water lily. The lotuses, they're the friend of the sun. Rupa Goswami has given a beautiful name. Sarvadara Binda Bandhu Nandani. He's talking about Jamuna. So he calls Jamuna that Sarvadara Binda Bandhu Nandani. That Sarvada means forever. Sarvadara Binda. Arabinda we know means? What does Arabinda mean? We sing every day. Bande Gurosri Charana Arabindam. Lotus. Sarvadara Binda Bandhu. Just like my name is Bandhu, so a friend. So here's the friend of the lotus flowers. I'll give you a hint. When moon will rise, every lotus will close her face. She doesn't want to see the moon. But as soon as sun will rise, every lotus will open her face with a big smile to see the sun. So always the friend of the lotus flowers is the sun. Sarvadara Binda Bandhu Nandani, the daughter of the friend of all the lotus flowers. Suryaputri Jamuna. Because Jamuna, she's actually, that's another long story, but she's the daughter of the sun god. But the Kamudanis, they bloom in the moonlight. The water lilies, they bloom in the moonlight. So there's a beautiful kund there. It's Kamudvan, but the kund is known as Padma Kund. And there's no lotus flowers there, no Kamudanis either. And the bottom of the kund is completely black, you know. We always have fun jumping in there and then smearing our whole bodies with this black mud, you know, to take mud bath, you know. People nowadays, they spend thousands and thousands of rupees to have the mud packs and everything. There you can go for free. Completely black, you know. You look like Krishna. Just the eyes are white, you know. All the devotees are playing around in the kund. And Kapil Rishi also has a place there because he did his penances and austerities at that place, Kamudvan. So after Kamudvan, the next forest is Bahulavan. And Bahulavan is named after a cow named Bahula. Because in that particular forest, there lived a very pious cow named Bahula. And one time, she was very, very big and pregnant. And Ekadasi came. So she decided to do Nirjal. We don't recommend this for the pregnant ladies, but anyway, she was very pious. She decided to do like that. She did Nirjal. And she fasted from water whole day and whole night. Early on the Dwadasi morning, she gave birth to her calf. Now she just went whole day and whole night without water. She just went through the trauma of childbirth. She was so thirsty. She didn't even think of feeding that first milk to her calf. Because that first milk, I forget what we call it in English. There's a name for it. But it's not meant for even the commercial farmers who want to get every cent they can make. Even they know that first milk is not for human consumption. Because it's filled with so many minerals and vitamins and probiotics. We make antibiotics against life. But nature makes probiotics. So even without giving that first milk to her calf, she ran off looking for water to drink. And if you watch the Discovery Channel, then you know that all the predators, they always hide near the water hole. There's some deer or somebody will come, then the lion will jump out and attack him. So she began to drink water, and suddenly a big lion appeared. And she fell down at the lion's feet and said, look, cross my heart, hope to die. I promise you, I'll come back and you can eat me, but please let me go give my first milk to my calf. Now we know lions are very famous for being very ferocious. But somehow we have this feeling that lions are also very noble. So he said, all right, you go feed your calf, I'll wait here, but make it quick. Meanwhile, I'll do my Facebook. So she went back to her calf, and she began, we forgot there's a whole, well, I won't tell the story now. So she was feeding her milk to her calf, and she was crying. And the calf said, Mata, why are you crying? Are Lala, this is the last time I will see you. He said, why is that? And she explained everything. He said, no, you're my Mata. You have given me life. How can you die before me? How can I see you die? No, I will go. He said, no, Lala, I've already lived so many years. You have your whole life in front of you. I will go. No, Mata, you gave me life, so how can I see your life go? I will go. They were arguing like this. Then the cowherd boy came, and he heard the cow and calf arguing. And so he finally understood what the argument is about. He said, no, my cow has given me milk all her life. How can she go and die? I will go. You stay here. No, you're my cowherd boy. You have treated me so kindly and fed me so nicely. You'll go. No, my mother can't go. I will go. They were all fighting like this. We can see in previous ages people were so noble. People had character. And now if there's some big trouble, and we can figure out how to blame it on someone else. Okay, yeah, let him get it. Again, Murphy says, to err is human, but to blame it on someone else is more human. So all three of them went to the lion. And the lion is so shocked, he looked up. He saw three has come instead of one. And everybody was begging, please eat me, please eat me. No, you don't eat her, eat me. No, don't eat him, eat me. No, they were all pleading. At that moment, Krishna appeared on the scene and played on his flute. And suddenly everyone remembered their previous life. In the heavenly planets, there was two Gandharvas known as Hu and Ha. It's actually in the scriptures. Their names were Hu and Ha. And they were doing some performance for the Devas, all the Devi Devatas. At that time, who was it? Parsa Rishi? Parsa Rishi and Nard Muni appeared on the scene. And all the Devi Devatas, they all stood up and showed respect except for Hu and Ha. And Parasa Rishi became very angry. Ale, what are you doing in heaven? You don't know how to show respect. You should go to the earth. You're just like an animal. You should become a cow and go to the earth. So that cow was actually Hu. And then and Parsa Rishi, he said, and this Nard Muni, he didn't stop me. He will also go to the earth. And the earth also witnessed this whole thing. She will also go. Who became the lion. He said, you go to earth and become an animal. You become a lion. So then they suddenly realized and Nard Muni became the cowherd boy. Or Parsar Rishi was the cowherd boy, Nard Muni was the calf. They all realized their eternal identities. Suddenly. And so you go there to Bahulavan, there's a big lake there. It used to be just a dirty mud hole with so many buffaloes in it. But now the government has made a big wall. You can't put buffaloes inside. Nice clear water is there. Beautiful ghats are there. And on the opposite side of the Kun, there's some ghats. And underneath the ghat, there's a temple. You go inside that temple, you see a big marble plaque with this. You see Krishna playing his flute. You see Bahula the cow. You see the lion. You see the cowherd boy. And you see the calf there. And you can make your offerings there. Very nice place. So this is, and that cow, so that forest became famous, that earth became the cow, so that she became Bahula, and that forest became known as Bahulavan. And later she became one of, I'm not sure which one, but the Pujari tells me that she became one of Krishna's Patranis in Dwarka. But they never tell which one. So this place is called Bahulavan. And this beautiful painting is there. And everybody else, that was Huhu. What happened to Haha? If you see in the purport of the, I think it's fourth canto maybe, the Gajendra Moksha pastime. Eighth canto, yeah, it's way up there. In the purport, Prabhupada said that crocodile, he was previously a Gandharva named Huhu. So he became the crocodile. And Haha became the lion. So these beautiful forests are there. And generally nice walks. Nowadays all the paths are becoming covered with asphalt. But we pray for nice, beautiful paths of Braj dust. Because this Braj dust is so special. It said by going on this 84 Kos Prikrama, then the 84 lakh Joni is finished. Just by walking on this dust. One time, in the old days, now we see Vrindavan a little different, but in the old days it was a very simple town. It was dirty and lots of pigs were running here and there. And Hayagriva told Prabhupada that everything's deteriorated. He said, Prabhupada said, by walking on this dust you go to Golok. What is the deterioration? You can't see Vrindavan by your eyes. Now it looks more like you're Bangalore. But you can't see Vrindavan with your eyes. You have to see it with your heart. So this dust of Brajas described that even with all the opulence of Vaikuntha, you cannot buy one grain of this Braj dust. And if you go with Lokanath Swami on his Braj Bandhu Prikrama, the law is that wherever you go and sit down and hear the katha, then you can't stand up and go like this. There's that one grain you can't buy with all the opulence of Vaikuntha. Now you became so opulent, then why are you going to go? You shouldn't worry that my dhoti or my sari became dirty. You should worry that the Braj of dust became dirty because I sat on it. Okay, so we have a few minutes. If somebody would like to ask any questions, we can try to give the answers. Yeah, we'll take questions first. Yes. We have Bhakta mic somewhere? Otherwise, speak loudly.
How can we, staying in place far away from Vrindavan, can always be in Vrindavan conscious?
Well, just like one time, Jagadananda Pandit, he was always asking Mahaprabhu for permission uh, to go to Vrindavan. And then one time he gave Mahaprabhu some sandalwood oil, and Mahaprabhu threw that pot down. What if people, I'm a sannyasi, if people smell sandalwood on me, what will they think? And he threw the pot. So then Jagannath, they had a funny relationship, so Jagannath became very angry. So again he asked, he said, no, now you're angry, you'll go to Braj and criticize me. Anyway, anyhow, he got permission to go to Braj. And Mahaprabhu told him, you go there, you stay with Sanatana Goswami, you go to Braj, you stay with a devotee, you see all the holy places, and you return. He told him you return. Because if you stay there, so many people staying in Vrindavan, but only out of lakhs of people staying there, only maybe 1,000 actually meditating that I'm in Brajabhumi. Everybody else eating, sleeping, men doing politics. They forgot what is Braj. So if you come back, then you think, oh, I went to that wonderful place, Vrindavan. We went on Giriraj Prikrama. We went to Nandagam with Deena Bandhu. We went to Gokul with Deena Bandhu. We went to Bahulavan with Deena Bandhu. And you would always think, when can I go again? When can I went to that wonderful place. When can I go again? And those who always remember Vrindavan, they actually live in Vrindavan. So you go there, go on Prikrama with the devotee, and you come back here to Bangalore, do your service, and you always remember, oh, that was such a wonderful place. When can I go again? You'll always remember Vrindavan. And those who always remember Vrindavan actually live in Vrindavan. And you read Krishna book. I remember when I was a young devotee, every night we would have, now this ritual is lost. We used to have transcendental banana milk every night. Because we go on Sankirtan late in the night and then we come back and they had this big pot of, we called it transcendental banana milk. We would take the bananas and smash them with a fork, and make it into cream and mix it in the milk and then put something to sweeten it. And we'd all sit around having this nice hot banana milk, and some devotee would be reading Krishna book before we all took rest. But nobody remembers transcendental banana milk anymore, I think. So Prabhupada's Krishna book is there. You read that or you go there and you'll always remember Vrindavan. And don't go there as a tourist, go there to actually do service. It's like we have a nice Goshala, you can do some service for the cows, the deities there, so exquisitely beautiful. Every morning we're thinking, they can't do it again. Every day the garlands are so amazing, so astonishing. You go on YouTube on the ISKCON Vrindavan channel and you see the Darshan Artik in the morning. So incredible. Or they're on Facebook page, you can see the pictures. So everything, how are they going to do better? But they always do. So amazing. Vrindavan that is the opulence of Vrindavan. Not big tall buildings like your Bangalore. The real opulence of Vrindavan is the flowers. And we have roses that have smell. I remember one time I was in Chopati because in the old days we heard Pushya Abhishek, so we thought maybe they just misspelled it as Pushpa Abhishek. So we used to do flower Abhisheks, but Pushya is the name of the month. This particular month that just started is called Posh. So on Posh Purnima, there's Pushya Abhishek, supposed to deal with ghee, and I can't remember what else actually what it is, but it's with ghee, very warm ghee. But we used to do these Pushpa Abhishek festivals. So in Chopati, they have a famous one. And they order 100 or 200 kilos of roses. They can't get roses in Bombay, but they order and they come on the train. Or the plane maybe, I don't know. They order the roses from Vrindavan so they can do nice fragrant Pushpa Abhishek. Yes?
Nowadays,
Yeah, like I said, you can't see Vrindavan with your eyes. You may see all those big buildings and everything. That's just your Triguna eyes. Vrindavan is transcendental. You have to see with your heart. And still, there's many natural plants. That's why underdeveloped Vrindavan. So you can go and feel what the forest of Vrindavan was like, just trees and kund and flowers. So many nice places are there. We went to one place. What is it? Pandav Ganga. Just near Javat, opposite side of the road from Javat, not far from Kokilavan. There's a place called Pandav Ganga. He's actually Mayavadi sadhu, but somehow he spent 20 years of his life bringing flowers from every different, and trees, and he's got Rudraksha trees and Chandalwood trees, and that's every type of tree, fishtail palms and parijata flowers and malati and madhavi and so many different types of flowers. And even has lotus. I don't see lotuses anymore in Braj because most of the kunds, they're all supplied from the canal water, which is the Jamuna canal, and Jamuna is so polluted, and lotuses can't survive in polluted water. It's like near Nandagaon, right near, just before Ter Kadamba, there used to be a kund there is still a kund called Bihar Kund, and I've seen it filled from one end to the other with lotuses, but they're all gone. The only place I saw lotuses left in Braj was there in Pandav Ganga. So many beautiful lotuses. We were there just in lotus season. We saw so many big, big lotuses like this, pink ones blooming on the side of the kund. There's still many places. You have to look a little harder. Other way to always remember Vrindavan is I have a book, Braj Leela, and this is part 2, which covers from Javat up to returning to Visram Ghat. And we just improved it and expanded it and just reprinted it just a few months ago. And if you want to take a copy, it's only 400 rupees. And we're here to sign it tonight if you want to take a copy. And always remember Vrindavan. So we were just in Talavan, which is Balaram's place. So we'll sing a nice bhajan from Vrindavan for Balaram. And again, this is also dancing music, so everybody stand.
Make the announcements, start the kirtan.
Huh?
We'll make the announcements and then bhajan, or
Okay. Yeah, because everyone will disappear, so.